afternoon, and good evening. It's your girl ChucTayyy, and I am here with your RETV Sports Break. You can catch me here every Thursday, talking junk, spitting facts. Let's get started. So, guys, the Super Bowl has finally happened, and the Los Angeles Rams are the Super Bowl champs. I don't remember what number Super Bowl it was this year. It really doesn't matter. But Super Bowl champs, it was looking a little bleak. I don't know how much chicken you consumed on Sunday, but for me, 'twas a lot. But what I do know and what I do remember is that, okay, OBJ injured, boom, out. Second half, Joe injured, boom, out. Bengals 10 points on the board in the third quarter. Is looking like Cincinnati's going to be the champions. And then turn it around, Rams win. So lots of things have then, of course, transpired. So there's a rumor, and he was specifically asked about it, but he kind of danced around the subject. Is Aaron Donald now going to retire now that he has won a Super Bowl championship at the ripe old age of 30? Is it a fair question? Sure, it's fair, I guess, at this point in his career and all of his accolades that now you can add Super Bowl champion to that list. Possibly. High contact sport like football, 30, is it on the upper side? I mean, I guess I would say, without doing some like intensive research, I guess, on this, 30 is probably like a median age for football players at this point. Of course, you have players that went well past 30. Of course, you have players that don't make it to 30 before their football career ends for whatever reason, injury, whatever. Is it possible that he retires? I guess it's possible, right? He has a couple kids. He's been doing this since I can't even think of 2014. That sounds right. So it's like you spend a couple years, you go out with a win. Is it possible? Sure. Is anybody saying for sure he's going to retire? No. So again, he was asked in the post-game interviews, and he kind of danced around it and just, I want to enjoy the moment, blah, 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 which that's fair. But, you know, we don't know from here. Do I think he's going to retire? Me personally, me, Taylor, I don't. But nobody really cares what I have to say except for the people that watch this show, and I appreciate you. But this is a developing story, and once he announces what he is or is not going to do, we'll be sure to let you guys know. In other news, the halftime show. And I was going to start with this, but I mean, we're like 3 minutes in, so let's just hit it. The halftime show. So if you've been with me for a while, you know that from the time this was announced up until this particular point, or prior to Sunday, I guess I should say, I was like, I don't care about this. This doesn't make sense. I don't like it. Boo, tomato, tomato. And there's not very many times in this world, in this life, in the year of our Lord, 2022, that I'm going to out loud say that I was wrong, except for this time, because I was wrong. Now, I don't know if it is the excitement and the exaggeration of the moment. I know that's not a word, but let's move on. But it was lit. Like, it was fire, for real. It was, I don't know. It was legit. It was legit. I think it being in LA was a much bigger deal than I had previously anticipated. I really appreciated the scenery of it all, like the house party situation. I really liked the map of LA on the ground. It was very like the Dickies in the crib block. It was really well put together. I would have liked to see a little bit more from Mary J. Blige and those boots. Okay, could y'all get into those boots? Okay. I would have liked to see a little bit more from her. Maybe a little bit more from Eminem. Like, a little bit, but Lose Yourself is timeless. So I was okay. Kendrick, I probably would have liked to see a little bit more from him. But overall, I enjoyed it. It took me back to a simpler time, I will say. A time before I had to pay bills and such things. It was, I was allowed to take naps and just live life and not have to worry about how I was going to feed myself. So it took me back to that. It was a nice, I enjoyed it. It was really good. Now, is it the best Super Bowl performance I've ever seen in my life? No, not the best, but it's pretty high up on the list. I'm still watching YouTube videos of Beyonce and Bruno Mars featuring Coldplay, because that's really what ended up happening. But this, I really enjoyed, again, the scenery, just the whole shebang of it all. I enjoyed it. But also, you know who didn't enjoy things? People who are upset that Eminem kneeled. Now let me just say this, okay? One, in my personal opinion, the fact that we're still having conversations about the kneel, to me, is ridiculous, okay? Because this has been going on for like 5 years now or something like that. Why are y'all still trying to rectify this? Like, why are you still trying to put parameters and tell people not to kneel? And at this point, the people who oppose, the opposition, just let it go. It's just, is it worth the fight? I don't think so. It's just not. And also, I want to know who had the bright idea to tell Eminem of all people, to not do something, and like you thought that was gonna happen. I'm confusion because are you new here? Do you know him? I mean, I don't know him personally, but I feel like I know enough about him to know that, like, you're not going to be like, hey, don't do this. No, but you know, that's just me. It's just me and my iPad. So, the day in which I'm having this conversation, the Rams are celebrating with their parade. Cooper Kupp, who surprisingly, I didn't know prior to this point, had no offers out of college, is now the Offensive Player of the Year and the Super Bowl MVP. So they are living it up, doing the things. LeBron James has suggested having a joint parade. I also didn't really realize that the Dodgers and the Lakers never got a parade. So he was like, oh, we should do a joint thing, but let the Rams have their moment, okay? And now football season is done, and we can switch on over to basketball, which is what we're going to do right now. So James Harden and his cape and his is you is or is you ain't my baby sleeves are officially in Philadelphia. And what happened when he was sitting on the bench on his first night? The Celtics blew them out of the water. And it's like, first of all, how embarrassing. I mean, I'm not saying the Celtics are scrubs. Let's not get it twisted. But all of this hoopla, first of all, he's not even playing. He's out with a sprain of some sort. He's not even coming back until after the All-Star break. But he was really out here in this house coat. I don't know. He looks stupid. And everybody's talking about how stupid James Harden look. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up what he was wearing. He looked stupid. It just was stupid. But nevertheless, so the trade between Philly and Brooklyn went through. Ben Simmons, among other players, are now in Brooklyn, and James Harden has now touched down in Philadelphia. He feels like this was the best decision. They're asking him about Kyrie and the whole not unvaccination thing, and is that why he wanted to leave? He's saying no. There's lots of animosity and things going on, lots of background things that I feel like we're not really being made privy to, and we're gonna get to why I feel that way in a minute. But Taylor, I don't know how great of a trade that was, honestly, because I wouldn't trade a bag of soggy peanuts for Ben Simmons right now. He's saying his mental health is keeping him off of the court, and I'm not here to say that that's a lie. I'm not going to talk about anybody else's mental health, because that is yours and yours alone. I do feel like his whole under the basket pass thing, like, he's not over that. And if that is playing a factor into his mental health, so be it. But I recall there being a conversation where he was saying, like, something about the city of Philadelphia and how he was not unsafe, but I can't even remember the exact verbiage right now, but something about the people in Philadelphia. And I just don't know that the people of New York are too much different. I don't see him meshing into the KD Kyrie situation. I don't see how that works in such a way. I also don't really see offensively, James Harden brings a lot to the table, okay? But if you are a first-time listener, first-time caller here, what you need to know is that I cannot really actually stand James Harden from a perspective of, as a well-rounded basketball player, he is not. He does not play enough defense, or any defense for that matter. He's very for show. He's for show. But I live my life in offense sells tickets, defense wins games. So it's not given what it's supposed to have gave. And I feel like even if he played in the game on Tuesday night against the Celtics, I feel like the Celtics have a more well-rounded team. There's a lot of things. There's just a lot of things that I can say. I just don't know that this is a smart trade. I don't believe that overall. I don't believe that was the best move for James Harden. I don't believe it was the best move for Brooklyn, not necessarily Ben Simmons, but like for Brooklyn to get rid of him. But again, there has to be a lot of other things behind the scenes that we, consumers, audience, fans, are not getting. So I'm interested to see what happens after the All-Star break. I feel like the Sixers will go on like a small run where they will win a few games. But do I think this makes them or further pushes them into the light of being Eastern Conference champion contenders? Not really. But, I have said once on this show already that I was wrong. I'm not prepared to do that again, but we'll see what happens. In other NBA news, now that the Super Bowl has ended, NBA All-Star Weekend is here. It is coming this weekend. And the draft happened. Now, I'm just going to go on record and say, again, for I don't know how many times, I hate this new, or it's not new anymore, but this whole NBA draft selection, I don't like it. You could have just left it East and West. I feel like now it's a popularity contest, and there's just a lot more politics involved with how the teams are constructed. And that's very apparent because, again, I say there's something else going on in the background because James Harden was dead last in the selection. And I feel like, so you have your team captains, LeBron and KD, and they're doing the picking from the list of reserves. And I feel like KD has an attitude with James Harden about some things. And then LeBron, not that he has the same attitude that KD has, but they're all intertwined and friendly and all of the things. So there's something else going on, but he was dead last. Last. It's between a nerd and a little person, kind of like when you watch a movie and it's like, man, I don't want him, but I don't want him either, so I'm gonna pick him. It was one of those. But let me just tell you the players for each team, and then we'll talk about the things. So on Team LeBron, you have, of course, LeBron James. You have the Greek Freak. You have Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Luka, Darius Garland, Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Fred VanVleet, Jared Allen is actually now at this point, now that I'm saying this out loud, at this point, Jared Allen is technically replacing James Harden because of the injury, but that, whatever. And then Nikola Joe, I can never say his last name, but you know who I'm talking about, from the Nuggets. And then Team Durant drafted was Joel Embiid, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Trae Young, Andrew Wiggins, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine. DeJounte Murray is replacing Draymond Green because of an injury. Chris Middleton, LaMelo is replacing KD because of an injury, and then Rudy Gobert. So those are the teams that we will see this coming Sunday during All-Star Weekend. Of course, you have all of the other activities, and we'll talk a little bit more about those next week on, this here show. But again, while James Harden is technically being replaced, the order in which these things happen had his spot, I guess we should say, being last. So it was, 1 through 23. Of course, they take turns. LeBron picks, KD picks. And then Team LeBron, I wouldn't even really say that he picks James Harden more than he got stuck with James Harden, or rather James Harden's spot, whatever, because he's not even playing. So all of this to say, I guess if I have to pick, I'm going to go Team LeBron. Yeah, I guess I'll just go Team LeBron. And honestly, from this point forward, basketball's going to start getting good. I am a firm believer that basketball's really not that great until after this happens, because then we're road to the playoffs. So definitely going to be watching this a little more closely than I already have been. Past All-Star Weekend, we'll talk about All-Star Weekend next week. We'll look at, all other developing stories, if you will. AD's potential retirement and, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we won't. I don't really think he's going anywhere, but that's just moi. And that's about it. But we do have a bright spot this week, Sports Break bright spot. And really, I personally feel like the real winner on Sunday was Van Jones, because as soon as the game is over, finds out his wife is having a baby. 3 hours after Super Bowl ends, skin to skin with the baby. It was just a beautiful moment. I feel like people talked about that way more this week than, everything else that happened. Not that it wasn't important, but just see him on the field with the ticker tape and the kids. And it's like, mommy's having a baby. She's going to have your brother. And his daughter's like, what do you mean? Why is mommy having a baby? Or why do we have to leave quickly? All those things. It was just so cute. And so babies give me the feels. So that's our bright spot. Just some goodness out into the world. So he got a double win on Sunday, which is also amazing. So that's it for me this week, guys. I hope you are safe. I hope you are doing all the things that you love. And I will see you next week.
This is Tyron
and Nicole with your weekly RETV News Break. Each Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, we'll come to you with the latest news, trends, and more with a positive spin.
We know there's a lot of positive news that doesn't get reported, but we want to give you the opportunity to share your story here on RETV. If you have a positive news story you want us to share, you can submit your story to news@re-tv.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. Download the new RETV Live app on your mobile device and follow Relationship Entertainment Television on your favorite social media platform.
Don't forget, make sure you tune into the RETV News Break each Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Growing up in the church, we saw a lot. Things that people refuse to talk about. The elephants in the room. Mental illness, sexual abuse, broken families, domestic violence, and so much more. The Big E, The Elephant in the Room, is a show that sheds light on these topics. We're here to speak about the unspeakable.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week, because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demetra Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?